we'll go to you first because we think you have a hot take brewing, but there's no base there.
No base whatsoever. Remember what I said before game 4?
You called it early.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Well, I said he didn't look too confident. I think he was sitting next to Kyle Lowry talking about game 4. And this looked even less confident. We got to win another one.
Oh, geez.
It seemed like he wasn't fully committed to that game 7. I think it seemed like he wanted to say anything can happen. And he was like, no, we actually got to win that one too. Okay. So is that the question?
Yes, it is. It's on the screen.
Time to admit the series is over.
Specifically, we crafted it for you.
Because you did admit, you admitted it on Friday.
Where art thou?
Yeah, they ain't
Why
nowhere.
have they forsaken the Miami Heat and me at our moment of need? Why, in game 4, when the Heat did, I felt, a great job on Nikola Jokić, Jamal Murray had almost to the make and miss field goals what I thought he was going to have from a scoring standpoint. Now he was excellent distributing the ball. Why in that moment does Aaron Gordon have his career playoff high? Does Bruce Brown channel his inner Tony Parker that I didn't know existed with 21 on 11 shots? Why does that happen? And now a seemingly insurmountable 3-1 deficit because LeBron James is not walking through that door for these Miami Heat. But Wilds, what do they call me?
I have it written down. Mr. Consistency.
Well, to go third person for a moment, Mr. Consistency feels a little boxed in. Because on one hand, I picked Miami to win the title going into this series. And I am not going to flip-flop during the finals. I can't imagine anyone who ever would under any circumstances. I have no recollection of that. Things that happened during COVID when we were in boxes, I don't even know if they count. Flip side is I did say the winner of Game 4 would win the series.
Thank you.
Tough spot here.
So I am in a tough spot. Meanwhile, Max Strus is still hitting the side of the backboard in practice, which doesn't make me feel great. So here's what I'll tell you, Brew. Is the series over? I, like Jimmy Butler, am focused on tonight. And I, like Jimmy Butler, believe the Miami Heat, with their backs against the wall, with Pat Riley and Alonzo Mourning and the hostile Denver crowd and Heat culture, can dig down and extend the series. And then, who knows? Then we'll see. Do I feel great about my position?
He's trying.
I don't
Is
feel
this
great
a
about
yes
my
or
position.
no?
Trying.
This is over? It's literally not over. The series, are they playing tonight? So then no. Series not over. Do I feel great about the Heat? I don't. They're in a rough spot. Are they dead? Dead? Like totally dead? No, not totally dead.
Wow.
What?
Whatever. Whatever. All right. And you asked the question, where are the basketball guys? Why have thou
Where are
forsaken it? They don't exist.
Okay.
That's why. They're gone, okay?
Struck down by a
no
lightning
basketball guys, as I told you. All right, look. It's over, Nick. And this is no revelation.
No.
You called it in 5. I called it in 6. We've been saying all series long, it's Denver, okay? It does not take Dr. James Naismith to see that they are just better. They're bigger, they're better. And we said, look, Milwaukee, Boston, they
We're
had
bigger
flaws.
and better. But they were
had
bigger and better,
flaws.
too.
You know what I mean? But yes, they had flaws. Milwaukee's best player couldn't shoot. Boston, scatterbrained. I keep saying it, but it is appropriate, and it fits. Denver does not have those flaws, all right? So, for the hard-headed, for the blind,
Blind?
for the obstinate, here is more proof that Denver is the better team, Nick, and the series is over. They have beaten the Heat just about every way imaginable.
Now that part is true.
Right?
It's concerning.
Jokić goes berserk with a 30-point triple-double. Okay.
Yeah.
Murray goes berserk with 30-point triple-double.
That's the same game.
Right, same game,
sure.
right.
Yeah.
They don't hit threes, they win. They do hit threes, they win.
Good point.
And then, as you said, Jokić and Murray are okay, pretty good. Murray hit some big shots. And then Aaron Gordon and Bruce Brown, and it could have been Christian Brown.
But it
could have been KCP. It could have been any number of Nuggets role players that were going to step up. And here's the other thing.
Game 4 hurt. I'm not going to lie. It hurt.
Check this out. Defensively, because we didn't think the Nuggets, that was their weakness, right?
Sure.
They're a mediocre defensive team. They have held the Heat. Now, the Heat in the regular season were second to last in the league in scoring, averaging 109 points. They have held the Heat to 11 points below that.
Yeah, the Heat's offense hasn't
98
looked great.
points a game.
Yeah.
Free throws. They've gotten to the line nearly 30 times more than the Heat. They're beating them every which way but up.
Okay.
And so
Go
this
ahead,
is
Wes.
So
over.
I have something for you.
Yeah.
I kind of knew how this was going to play out. And you're not at your best when you're like this.
What do you mean?
Well, just kind of like beaten down and humbled.
I'm not humbled. I'm just being honest. They game 4.
I know.
Was
You
the
look humbled,
was
though.
the
You're
print?
humbled.
Well, what do you want me to say?
I know.
What do
There's
you
no
want me to
base,
say?
no chest. It's a bunch of
I got
trouble.
it. I know that's what we strive for, but then we actually don't want it to
Yeah,
happen.
you-
The show kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
So I made up a graphic. If
You want
Denver
some
wins
toes,
tonight, best
I got
playoff
some
record
toes
in the
for you.
last 30 years. You got the 17 Warriors, you got the 0-1 Lakers, you got Tim Duncan and Spurs, 96 Bulls, and then look at Joker. Are you ready to say that this is one of the most dominating playoff runs of the last 30 years?
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, geez, I thought you were going to fight
No,
against that one.
no. If they,
Man.
it absolutely. So here's the thing, and this is why I take a little issue with Brew's breakdown of it, because it is not as if Denver was considered by you or me this dominating, unbeatable team. We both picked them to lose to the Lakers. You thought the Suns could beat them. Vegas thought the Suns could beat them. So it is. I understand that right now in the moment, it looks like a total laughable mismatch between the two teams. But nobody thought that. That to me is more of an indictment on what people think of the Heat than going into the series what people think of the Nuggets, because nobody thought the Nuggets were this runaway I shouldn't say nobody.
Well, by the time the finals started,
By the time the finals started, people, I think though,
way they beat the
because they
Lakers.
disrespect the Heat. Because I do not think people would have said it would be 90% of the people on TV picking the Nuggets if it was Nuggets Celtics or Nuggets Bucks. And
Agreed.
so the reason that I am, as you put it, I don't know if humbled's the right word, even though that
It is.
What's my New Year's resolution?
we see your face.
Be less humble.
Yeah, but it's
It is sometimes you get not sucker punched, but you take a blow you didn't expect to take, which is game 4. Jamal Murray did cool off. Joker finally had a B-level game instead of an A to A quadruple plus game. And the Heat still not only didn't win, but Denver had control. And that is the moment where there's typically a moment in the series where it is pretty clear one team's better. And just by watching the games, that moment to me came about midway through the second half of Game 4, where it's like, oh, man. Game 3, you can chalk up, I think, fairly to first pair of teammates in NBA history to have 30-point triple-doubles. That's a great job.
Yep.
It's not duplicable. It's not Jokić and Murray going to have 30-point triple-doubles every night. The fact that the Heat did what they needed to do defensively, I thought, and they still lost. And your point on the Nuggets defense, I think, is an important one, and this is where Michael Malone does deserve credit. This is what he has been preaching for as long as he's been in our lives as the Nuggets coach. And they are in the midst of the best defensive stretch of basketball they've played under him, and they're doing it at the best possible time. The Lakers series into this one.
And quickly, before we move on, the reason people didn't believe in the Nuggets is because they were where Philadelphia was as well. That they got to do it.
They got to do it.
We have to see them do it. Now, we probably should have taken into consideration that Jamal Murray's been out the last year and a half, and
Sure.
who knows what would have happened had he not been hurt. But everyone felt like they got to prove it before we're really going to believe in it, and now they've proven it.
Also, they need to win one more.
Okay.
They need to win one more.
We know.
We saw a team down 0-3 force a game 7.
Okay.
The idea that the Heat can't force a game 6, that'll be at home. Like,
That's
come
an
on.
odd rationale.
I,
They forced a game 7 against
Against
these
the
Heat.
Hey, that's true. That's true. We did just see it.
On Jimmy Butler. Some doofus, your word, 20 years from now was going to look at his All-Star games, Jimmy Butler's, all NBA nods and counting stats and think he was just some nice player on par with Joe Johnson or Dave Bing. Joe Johnson takes a shot there.
Also, is Dave Bing, Syracuse
No,
great.
my goodness.
Truth is that Jimmy Butler is among the very best players of his time. an automatic Hall of Famer. Brew, that was a hot take 2 weeks ago. Now it's automatic. And at the very least, one of the 100 best to ever play this game. This feels like a good time to tip our hat to perhaps the most underrated player of this era. It's a large bouquet there.
Yeah.
Where does Jimmy fit in NBA history?
Well, Brew, the same day that Brew said he's a Hall of Famer, he did the career comp to Reggie Miller. And as far as All-Star games, All-NBAs, career averages, is very apropos.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's better than Reggie. I do. I think his highs are higher. Reggie had 3 40-point playoff games in his career, never more than 41. We've talked about Jimmy having 8 in the last 4 years, including, some monster performances. A 40-point game in the finals, multiple 30-point triple-doubles in those finals, a 56-point game against Giannis. I don't think, Brew, there's a basketball comp for him. I was trying to go cross-sport. He hasn't won the title. And the draft position is so different, but I almost went is there an Eli Manning similarity in that the guy was fine in the regular season and then had a couple great. Yeah. For Eli, he only had 2. Jimmy's had more than 2 excellent playoff runs, but none have ended in the championship. That's why I said it's not perfect,
it doesn't really work.
But it's very hard to find the analogous situation. Manu raised his game in the postseason, but he never had to carry a team. So I think it is fair to say he's one of one. We've never seen this archetype fully formed. And so, I think that's where he fits in NBA history. I don't think he was ever going to be considered on the level, and now I guess I'm taking a shot at Joe Johnson. Jimmy Butler, before this playoff run, I would have considered in higher regard than Joe Johnson. Because he has been the best player on a team that has done damage in the postseason. We never saw that from Joe or other guys similar, but I think that's where he fits, Brew.
Yeah, look, like you said, wow, the disrespect of Joe Johnson and Dave Bing. Dave Bing is an all top 75 player. Dave Bing had 2 seasons where he averaged 27 points a game.
Top 50 player, too.
It was top 50, and Hollinger just ripped him. But anyway, look, I don't think Jimmy Butler's underrated. Because as much as we talk about rings and championships and the importance of postseason performances, the regular season also plays into your legacy.
Yep.
And he has been very good in the regular season. He's made 5 All-NBA teams, 6 All-Star teams, and 5 all defensive teams. That's about what he's been. He's only averaged more than 22 points, I think, 3 seasons. So to talk about him like everybody's disrespecting him, now we're giving him credit for improving in the playoffs and being playoff Jimmy, but he's not having a great finals, and nobody's ripping him because
he's not having a bad finals.
He's not having a bad finals, but he's not having a great one.
No doubt.
And nobody's destroying him. So I think I agree. Obviously, I said he's a Hall of Famer. I think I was the first on TV to say that. So I'm with that top 100 player. I don't have a list right now, but he's in that possibly in that. Reggie Miller, I think when you compare scoring today, which we do, but it was a much more defensive league back then.
But he also is a much more impactful defender than Reggie.
He's a better defender than Reggie. But to compare points per game today when they shoot far more threes,
I agree with that.
To then. But look,
can we drill down on this part? Do you think for next year and next year alone? So we're removing age as far as long term, but for you get this player for all of next regular season and next playoffs. Is he one of the first 10 guys off the board? No. To me,
in the league,
you say no.
In the league,
no. You don't. Yeah, in the league right now. I'm saying in the league right now.
For the playoffs, because
you're taking a draft,
but I don't think he's a top 10 player.
But.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
But you're saying he's gonna lift this game.
What I'm saying is if the NBA only had 1 year left in existence.
Yep.
So we don't have to worry about age or anything. Yeah. You get any of these guys for 1 year. The number 1 pick of the draft for next year is Jokić or Giannis, right?
Sure.
And then Steph comes off the board. KD probably comes off the board, right?
Yep.
Luka, I think, comes off the board.
Correct. We're at 5.
LeBron, Booker.
Yep.
Anthony Davis. Okay, that's 8.
Yep.
So now still remaining on the board, Joel Embiid. I would rather have Jimmy.
Okay, well, he's the
Jason.
Well, you would in the playoffs.
Well, will you get him for the whole year? You get him for the whole year. Hold on. Jason Tatum or Jimmy. It's close. It's
I'll
close.
take Tatum.
Okay, Tatum. So you're at 9. SGA or Jimmy? I'll take Jimmy. The
John
Kawhi
Morant?
or Jimmy?
John.
I'll take Jimmy over Ja.
Okay.
I would like.
I mean, Jimmy's, look, this
What
is
you think this is
Is
crazy?
Damian Lillard in the league still?
I would take
Guys,
Jimmy.
we're losing.
What do you
But
mean?
I think Damian
I would take Jimmy.
goes as a bet. Who ranks higher historically? I think Damian.
Dame,
Lillard.
of course. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about right now, this moment. Going into next season, has he earned the right to be considered one of the top 10 guys in the league when you consider what you get from him from game 1, which is far less than what you get from him being in game 1, but also what you get from him in the postseason? You get his full year. Would he be one of your top 10 guys? For me, he would be.
One of the big problems with Jimmy's career is that he's been banged up a lot. Like, he's only got 2 years where he plays 70 or more games. And so that's a big part of it. And the other thing is, when you've won a ring or multiple rings, it kind of outweighs this stuff. But when you look at Jimmy, he's not a great scorer. He's a good scorer, no doubt. He's a 20-point scorer. He's not a great scorer, not a great passer, is a great defender, but not a great rebounder. Like, doesn't have great handle. Like, what defines him, and this is why you said maybe there's no comp. The defining characteristic of Jimmy Butler is his competitiveness.
Yes.
He is one of the all-time great competitors. I will give him that. And I'll call him a winner even though he hadn't won a ring. Mm-hmm. But his skill-wise, he's skilled, don't get me wrong. But he doesn't wow you with anything. It's just, man, this dude is a competitor. Right.
All right, quickly, might be his closeout game. How many points does he score tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be his closeout game, but he's going to have 36.
36, Brew? Over, under,
He's
36?
Under,
in the 20s.
In the 20s, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the game to go
top
crazy.
10 player, you can't
the game to go crazy was game 4.
Okay.
Wild.
You can't be top 10 in your closeout game and score 26 points.
Okay, well, Tatum went into last year's top 10. I think his closeout game of the finals scored in the teens, and you said had literally 100 turnovers.
That was a fact. He had 100 turnovers.
So again, it doesn't. You don't have to be as good as Jokić is playing right now to be one of the top 10 guys you'd want. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.